Court is in session in cause number 327-836. Case is style of State of Texas versus Larry Jones Jr. Mr. Jones, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Jones, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Jones?
Well,
That's good. Mr. Jones, you're represented by Attorney Todd LeBlanc. The state is represented by Mr. James Ham. Mr. Ham, how are you doing?
all right.
Good, thank you, Judge.
Mr. Jones, I have before me a document that is titled, hold on a minute. Okay, I have a document before me that is titled Information. In this document, Mr. Jones, it alleges that on September 6th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespass. Mr. Jones, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yeah, but I don't know how that charge with trespassing. I never been evicted from Waterburger before. It was at Waterburger.
It was at Waterburger? Okay. Now, Mr. Jones, to this charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No, not guilty.
You're not guilty?
I plead guilty.
Or you plead guilty?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Jones, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Jones, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials, LJ, like it's LJJ, I guess it's Larry Jones Jr. LJJ. Now, Mr. Jones, these set of initials is on a line that's next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document? Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, yes.
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes.
And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification, the defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Did you sign this document?
No, yes, sir.
Okay, now at the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you are giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Jones, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
No, I didn't sign nothing out there. Oh.
I'm saying where you are when you was with your attorney.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now, before you signed and initial these documents that I have just mentioned, did your attorney go over the documents with you? When your attorney came out there and talked to you, did he go over these documents with you?
Yes.
And did you understand everything that he went over?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yeah, but yes, but what I'm saying is a trespassing.
Yeah, your charge is a trespassing case.
Okay.
Okay, so my question is, did you understand everything that your attorney went over?
Yes.
Okay, now, State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. LeBlanc, you have advised and counseled Mr. Jones. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Judge, there wasn't any evidence of that when I met with him last night, no.
Okay, but currently, is there any evidence that he's mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay. Mr. Jones, your attorney, Mr. LeBlanc, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes,
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
yes, he came in yesterday from
All right.
family situation.
All right, now, Mr. Jones, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 15 days, time served, with court costs to be taxed and retired.
Mr. Jones, the state is offering that you serve 15 days in the Jefferson County Jail, but you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 15 days. Therefore, you will be given credit for time served. The
Yes, sir.
court cost in this case is $342, but you will not have to pay the $342 because the time that you have spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Jones, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Jones, this will conclude your case. Please follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day.
All right, thank you.
And Mr. LeBlanc, this will conclude the cases that you have today. We'll see you tomorrow and you have a
Okay.
blessed day.
You too, Judge. Is the